Meet Comdex. Comdex is a decentralized synthetics protocol in the Cosmos ecosystem. Comdex enables its users to create and exchange synthetic assets using their Cosmos ecosystem holdings. These synthetic assets open the door to limitless global accessibility and liquidity, democratizing finance by bridging DeFi and CeFi.
Right then. Okay, so we're live by the looks of things. So yeah, I hope everyone's enjoying the conference so far, or the event, Comdex Mainnet Launch Party. So we've got a DeFi panel today. We're doing a discussion on the DeFi sector within Cosmos, and I'm joined by quite a few people today. So we've got Tushar from Persistence, Greg from Akash, and Adriana from Kapla. So first of all, if you guys can just introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about what you're doing, the projects that you're working for, and what your role is. If we can start with Tushar, maybe.
Sure. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Persistence. We're a Tendermint-based protocol and powering different kinds of use cases across the board, from liquid staking to interoperable NFTs, and also working very closely with Comdex on synthetic commodities.
Perfect. And Greg, what do you do at Akash?
My name is Greg Osuri. I'm the founder for Akash Network. Akash is a decentralized cloud infrastructure network. It's essentially a marketplace for cloud-grade compute that offers compute in an open and permissionless way to a price point that's market-driven, usually anywhere from 1/5 to 1/3 to what you would pay on the market. And I lead the project in all forms, development and non-development activities.
Perfect. And then last of all, yourself, Adriana.
Yeah, sure. So hi, I'm Adriana. I'm the current director of marketing and community at Tendermint. I have been in this space for over 5 years now. I have gone through several roles, from community advocate to the current full-time role at Tendermint. For those who don't know, Tendermint is one of the core contributors of the Cosmos network. It has been founded in 2014 by Jay and later Ethan. We have been the company who has built the core components of what we are seeing today, everything from Tendermint BFT to Cosmos SDK and IPC. And in terms of marketing, we are currently focusing on several contributors throughout the Cosmos ecosystem in various domains like marketing, community, branding, communication, co-marketing, administration of social channels, PR, different marketing initiatives, events, community growth, and community management. And in terms of like Tendermint as a company, we also are contributors in other various domains like engineering, ecosystem development, and also design. So yeah, glad to be here. Thank you for the invite.
No problem. Excellent. We've got a really good panel today. I'm glad I can be here with some of the forward-thinking minds in the Cosmos space. So that's excellent. And you know, speaking of Cosmos, we've just seen the ecosystem develop so much, right, since the launch of IBC, like you mentioned there, Adriana. And we've actually just come so far in terms of what's being built, what's being pushed forward, and the innovation. So I wanted to ask each of you, how has the ecosystem evolved since you first got involved in the Cosmos space? And maybe we can start with you, Greg, first of all. What are your thoughts on how the ecosystem is developing?
Quite rapidly, actually. We at Akash started working with Cosmos in some form of shape in 2017 with Tendermint. It was a library to, essentially a library that you could drop in to a project that you're working on, and essentially get all the consensus level, level stuff, which is usually hard part of building the blockchain handle for you, right? And we kind of were. This is the time when Cosmos SDK did not exist. It was just purely Tendermint, and in the past, I would say 3 years, the SDK came around the Tendermint, library and sprawled into this mega ecosystem that we are seeing today. And what is I mean, the combined market cap of Cosmos Chains is, I believe, close to don't quote me on this, close to $1 trillion now, right? So this was essentially non-existent 3 years ago. So that tells quite a bit about Cosmos. And I really like, one of the amazing things that I admire about the ecosystem is the pace at which the development happens, right? So when we began, it was a very basic bare-bone project, and the modular system Cosmos SDK has kind of created this amazing way for community to start contributing and developing these different modules, where if somebody develops a module, a project develops a module that they think is useful, another project can pick that module up and use it, right? Like, you have modules like staking that allows staking across different Cosmos chains with similar mechanics, or like account management or banking management, right? So over time, these modules became quite a bit, and you can pretty much find any module that you want that you can just pick it up from open source and use it. I think that was one of the core tenets of the growth we're seeing with Cosmos. Overall, we kind of, we were kind of divergent till about 2019, building our own modules, but then we switched over to the Cosmos SDK in 2019, and it's been one of the best sort of like decisions we ever made. And one of the things that stands out about Cosmos is the sovereignty that we get, unlike other shared state chains, right? So shared state chains like Ethereum and Solana are phenomenal for developing rapidly, but once you reach a certain scalability threshold, you certainly need that sovereignty that Cosmos provides. So the ability to have sovereignty and the ability to develop in a modular manner is what I think sprawled this incredible ecosystem. And with 2021, we had the IBC that essentially went live. And that changed the game for a lot of the Cosmos projects, beginning with immediate benefits we saw were liquidity provisioning across different chains, with persistence, with osmosis, with several other, with SwiftChain, several other projects that started optimizing liquidity for Cosmos ecosystem projects, which was kind of non-existent because because of lack of support from the mainstream community, I suppose. So this is just one example of what interoperability can do, and I'm really excited what the future brings along. Especially in terms of the Web3, the DWeb, the NFT space we're seeing, the gaming space we're seeing. I think Cosmos is just sprawling in amazing areas that I'm really excited to be here.
Absolutely. And it has come such a long way in terms of the amount of chains connected, the value locked into these chains, and so on. What's your perspective, Adriana, on that, from Tendermint, but also just from the validator side as well? How have you seen the ecosystem expand over the months and years that you've been involved?
Yeah, for sure. So if I were to look at my Cosmos journey, this has been such a beautiful and amazing one. I have actually started my Cosmos experience back in 2017 with the Cosmos white paper, which came first to life. And if you think of how the Cosmos environment, or how the industry environment looked back then, it was completely different to how it looks like right now. We were on a trend of like, you were either a Bitcoin fanatic or like an Ethereum kind of progressive mindset, and the idea of the multi-chain universe did not even exist back then. Well, Cosmos was actually the first project to introduce the idea of the cross-chain universe and the multi-chain environment. And to be able to see that, almost 5 years from then, you see that people and the industry are adopting this mindset as well. It definitely makes you feel like you have been pioneering this entire ecosystem with the vision that you have had early on. And to be able to see technologies which have been built throughout the years, like Tendermint BFT, Cosmos SDK, being the foundation of what exists now in the ecosystem. We see over 260 apps and services which are built in using this technology, and I believe we have over 40 mainnets live today, and the ecosystem growth is like over 165 billions in market cap. And this is only increasing from now, right? We have seen the exponential growth which IBC has brought into the space. And even though IBC is only like 8 months old, we have seen already 22 chains which have adopted IBC. And a lot of chains like Secret Network or Kava or Band Protocol have also announced their IBC future integrations. So this only shows like the rapid growth of the ecosystem and how the technologies that we have built as an ecosystem together are beginning to be the de facto of technology in this space. And also together with IBC, we have seen so much growth in terms of like products and solutions which are being brought with the IBC enablement, such as decentralized exchanges like Osmosis, GravityDex, SafeChain, and others. We have seen liquid staking solutions emerge, like bstake by Persistence. So Osmosis is also working on superfluid staking, and which is like a super interesting product as well. We have seen NFTs like Persistence is working on NFT standards, IrisNet, Bsong as well for music, Strange Clan. So all these various implementations are only emerging with bringing new use cases to what IBC protocol is today. And in terms of like ecosystem, we are only second behind Ethereum in terms of like market cap if we were to think of our ecosystem as one entire Cosmos network. Also, solutions like Starport, right, that allow you to easily build and launch any crypto app on your sovereign blockchain are the ones that are getting us closer to the vision of 1 million blockchains. Also, I believe what comes next is that developers and builders have started to realize the importance of being sovereign and having fast transactions, and also the possibility to communicate with other blockchains in this cross-chain universe. And I believe we will witness some migrations of apps from Ethereum, for example, to Cosmos, because Cosmos offers just that independence for all the builders. Also in terms of like interoperability, I believe that IBC will surely become the standard in this space, and we have seen other chains outside the ecosystem who are looking into solutions on how to use IBC and how to be able to build this cross-chain universe together with the Cosmos ecosystem. So I'm only excited of the road ahead, and I believe we're just started, and it's only like an exponential growth from here.
Yeah, I think I agree, with that. We're going to see more and more people building. And speaking of, people building, Tushar, Persistence is obviously built on top of the Tendermint consensus, and you're providing a lot of solutions for DeFi and NFTs and so on. So I was wondering, what are your thoughts on what the most key sort of developments are for the Cosmos ecosystem at the moment? What areas are the most exciting? And feel free to talk about how Persistence are doing, different parts of this as well.
Yeah. So, to answer your question and to sort of build on Greg's point and Adriana's points, I think what's happening in a lot of other ecosystems is basically, whatever worked in Ethereum is sort of being recreated. Whereas I think the application chain specific nature of Cosmos, or the sovereignty of Cosmos, allows entrepreneurs or builders to do certain things which may not be possible in other ecosystems. So, having things like, having liquid staking where, you have, you're holding on to, say, STK assets in the case of bstake, where your STK assets are producing staking rewards, which can also be used simultaneously as collateral to facilitate borrowing lending. So you could have self-repaying loans just through staking rewards themselves. So your loans pay themselves. Umi is working on something like that. We are working on something like that as well. So now you have interesting, financial use cases as far as, the DeFi vertical is concerned. But you have, fundamentally, finance remains the same. You have exchange of assets, you have asset issuance, you have exchange of assets, you have borrowing, lending, you have derivatives, you have insurance, you have those are pretty much, you have passive investing through vaults and indexes. So those are pretty much, the same use cases across finance. But the application chain specific nature of Cosmos, proof of stake itself, creates some very interesting gamification ideas or narratives or products themselves. So I think that is something that is super exciting for me to see. So, projects like Injective, Umi, P-Stake, I think it's super exciting to see use cases like that. And then on the NFT side, definitely super excited for everything. Again, essentially what most protocols are doing is kind of replicating what worked in Ethereum and creating sort of, some version of, ERC 721, or just enabling, ERC 721 assets to flow over to other chains. What Persistence is trying to do is sort of fundamentally reimagine that in terms of how do you create NFTs with fundamentally different metadata, or as the NFTs themselves become more complex, how do you capture ERC 721 can be pretty restrictive. It has become a standard, but it is pretty restrictive in terms of the kind of information that can be depicted. So I think from that perspective, as Greg mentioned, the application chain specific or the sovereignty of Cosmos allows for that horizontal scaling, which allows builders to do things that are fundamentally not possible in other ecosystems. So that's something that I'm super excited about. Whether that's on the financial side or NFT side, ultimately it's about asset issuance, whether it's fungible tokens or non-fungible. So I think that to me is what makes Cosmos super interesting and exciting.
Thank you. And we haven't got too long, and I really wanted to cover as well how we can sort of onboard more users into the ecosystem. But Greg, very quickly, did you have anything to add about the DeFi ecosystem in Cosmos and more about the infrastructure which is supporting these DeFi applications like Comdex, like Injective, and like all of these other chains?
I actually got a brilliant idea after listening to Tushar here. So one of the important parts of a self-paying loan using liquid staking is very interesting, because all of a sudden now you can create like DAOs that'll own infrastructure, that purchase infrastructure, actual hardware using let's say you have AKT and you collateralize AKT and a self-paying loan using AKT. So you essentially get free infrastructure that a DAO can own and will be paid off eventually because of the loan, and then you're just making profit running infrastructure. So things like these are like not unheard of in like traditional finance or traditional systems. So I think these are some of the exciting use cases I'd love to see in the near future. To add infrastructure is, as you know, decentralized finance needs decentralized structure, or NFT, as a matter of fact. The notion that you're using a centralized infrastructure is just horrible, right? So Akash is positioned well to provide that decentralized infrastructure. You can see applications like Strange Clan, or which is building an NFT game on Akash, or you can see Osmosis. They're running their RPC servers, eventually moving their front ends as well to Akash. And the reason for that is today we have a uncertain regulatory climate that's very hostile to anything DeFi and crypto, right? And the only way to really battle that is to offload liability from the protocol developers to the community. I call it offloading liability from the corporate to the common, because there is no escape from being a corporate. You will get approached, you will get censored, and you will get silenced, right? And it's already starting to happen. And so I think we're going to see quite a bit of that transition from the corporate to the common. And if you look at what something like Osmosis is doing, they have a DAO essentially that control the RPC servers and eventually control the front end. So if anyone wants changes in what assets Osmosis can list, can go through a governance proposal, and as long as the community is okay with it, the appropriate actions will be taken in terms of censorship or moderation. So I think like shifting that liability and the responsibility from the corporate to the common is possible when you have the infrastructure that can support that, and Akash Network is there. So besides just DeFi, I think this innovation we're looking at across the board with infrastructure. You're seeing Akash and Sentinel providing the routing infrastructure and resolution infrastructure, right, through the integration with Handshake, and Akash providing the responding infrastructure, I call it. I think we're going to see quite a bit of interesting use cases in the coming few months and years.
Perfect. And we've got to kind of close things there. I just wanted, Adriana, maybe you can just summarize in 1 minute or so how we can kind of get these amazing DeFi applications to more users in DeFi and also beyond it. If you could maybe talk about that for about 1 minute, and then we'll have to leave things there.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, bit of a cold here. So in terms of like user adoption, I believe there are two key components to that. And one is ease of use, right? We have seen how the solutions like Tendermint BFT, Cosmos SDK, and IBC have become the standard in the space. But for them to be adopted, like when we talk about adoption, like mass adoption, and how we're able to transition users from traditional solutions to crypto solutions, we need to think of their user experience. And for them to understand how the blockchain space works and how they're able to actually use this space, we need to make this space as friendly as possible to them. Like for example, like Google, right? Google is a mass adoption product. No one knows exactly or wants to know exactly what happens with the search engine. They just need to know they have this amazing user interface that they can use, and they're most interested in the results of the usage. So I believe if we view the crypto space and the crypto products the same way and through a user perspective eye, we will understand that in order for us to get there, we will need to adapt our products to be as easy as possible to be used. And here I'm thinking about everything from wallets to portals to cross-chain solutions, like for example Yumi, or wallets which are designed for the cross-chain universe, like Kepler, or portals that kind of summarize all the applications and protocols in the same place, like for example the future of Ameris. And if we think about that, and if we think of how to make things easier from a user perspective, I think we're on a successful road to mass adoption. And also, as I mentioned before, cross-chain solutions are also the second key factor, which most likely will get us there, because we are already seeing the growth of the space and how we've seen different explorers which show the activity of like different chains and different wallets that we can use for different chains. But as we grow, we will need to find ways to be able to offer users a seamless way for them to connect and use the solutions in one place. And the ones that I mentioned before, solutions like Kepler, like Ameris, like Yumi, will be able to offer that to the user. So I'm looking forward to see what comes out of this and how we will be able to work together as an ecosystem to create these cross-chain solutions in the most easy way for users to adopt them.
Perfect. And yeah, thank you so much, all of you, for coming on. And I'm sure we'll find those ways to onboard as many users as possible. So thanks again. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Tushar. Thanks, Adriana. It's been a pleasure. And I hope the audience enjoyed this panel as well.
Thank you, Liam.
Thank you so much for inviting us. Thank you, Liam. And thank you all the guests here.
It was a lot of fun. Thank you.